Welcome directors to Challenge 2 of Project Directing. As you know, I'm your host, mentor, and judge, Dr. Will Schuler. To remind our viewers that after 4 more challenges, there will be a winner of Project Directing. The winner will receive patron night tickets to Betroffenheit, created by Crystal Pite and Jonathan Young at Sadler's Wells. And the top 2 scoring directors will receive tickets to Jekyll and Hyde, donated by the Old Vic. This week, we have some new actors, so grab your director's packs and take a look. Before you make your choices, let me tell you your challenge. This season has seen a crop of new adaptations on the West End stage of ancient Greek tragedies. Some of the most successful, in my opinion, are those that were able to make the ancient story resonate for contemporary audiences. Inside your packs are a few lines of an Aeschylean fragment. In this challenge, you will make a scene no longer than 4 minutes, in some way adapted from the fragments. For this challenge, you'll be judged on the following criteria: originality, creativity in adapting the source text to a piece of contemporary theater, and overall direction. Actors, why don't you stand up for selection? Abby, because you won the last challenge, you get to choose all 3 of your actors now.
Can I have Azan, Harry, and Luke, please?
Azan, Harry, and Luke, if you sit down. For the rest of the selection process, I will draw names from a hat, and the actors will then choose which director they're going to work with. Once a director has 3 actors, they'll no longer be eligible for selection. For the remaining actors, I'll draw your name out of a hat, and once I call your name, please choose a director to work with. Catherine.
Courtney.
Daniel.
Courtney.
Poppy.
Rebecca.
Emily.
Rebecca.
Nicola Hurst.
Courtney.
And Alexis.
Rebecca.
It looks like the remaining 3 actors will be working with Grace. So that's Liv, Anna, and Nicola. Great. Directors, you have your fragments, you have your actors. Go, make.
So last week it was really hard. I think it was problematic because we had so little time to come up with something. For me, like going in like flat with no text, nothing, and having to create something very quickly, I got a bit flustered. But what happened was I was happy with. Everyone's pieces were so different and so cool. I'm just excited this week we have text. Yay!
Last week's challenge was so difficult because of the reduced amount of time we had, because the initial ideas didn't have that time to kind of break away from what they originally were. So I think I lost a lot of marks for being non-original and lacking that kind of element of newness. But I think if we'd had an hour more at least, it would have been so much better. It would have kind of filtered out of the actual piece.
It was really interesting, really nice. It's nice to have the challenge of no words and see how people interpret that differently. And it was really nice to see what 4 very different directors can come out with in just an hour, just based off one kind of mark. So that was really exciting. And yeah, it's put me quite in the kind of mood of competition, actually.
This week's challenge is really fun, really challenging actually. I was like, oh yeah, we'll have a little fragment and we can do whatever we like, but yeah, it's really difficult. Obviously I've got 2 new actors who weren't here last week as well, so it's kind of getting to know them in the time as well and knowing what their strengths are, which is really fun. It's been really good.
Terrorist attacks, random shootings.
Now for you to bring the arms into this as well. It's amazing. I absolutely love Greek theatre. I did a module with Will in spring term, autumn term, and we directed the suppliants, and that was so much fun. So I'm really excited about bringing this into the 21st century and making it so relevant, because it really is. Greek theatre is so relevant. So yeah, exciting.
Definitely a bit harder. I mean, I find the text we got, all the fragments, challenging, and the balance, how much you're going to use from the text and how much you're going to adapt it into contemporary.
I love it. I haven't had the chance to properly study Greek theatre on my course, but I have done my fair share of appreciating it, and I really love it. And it's really nice to take something so fragmented and so broken and be able to make something whole from it. And I've spent the penultimate term of my third year making theatre from music. So I love this idea of taking something that is very kind of alien to you and making some theatre from it, and that really excites me. So yeah, I like it.
Would you be able to get up onto your knee? Would you be able to sit up? What's keeping you down?
My biggest competition has to still be Abby. I think she is very original with new ideas, so she is definitely one to beat.
Yeah, she always uses Azan. It's like, God, girl. But yeah, because obviously, Azan's, she's worked with him a lot as well, because for her piece, as part of her course, she did one with him. He was in her company. So yeah, she's got a massive advantage. She knows what he's good at, what he does. And yeah, I think she has a bit of an advantage.
Cool, right. One done.
When you take your hand off, it really works.
Yeah.
I have the temptation, but I don't want to.
There's the temptation now. I'm like, no, and then they just literally
And how are you approaching this challenge and approaching how you're engaging with these few lines?
Well, being Greek makes me very happy. I'm not Greek, but it being Greek, having done obviously our module together, which is incredible. It's about a sea creature, and we've got water and we've got grass. So we've got movement and motion and potential that when he eats this grass and becomes a sea demon. And for me, trying to think about that now, it said to me drugs.
And essentially, the first time that I read it, I just got this image of when you go out onto a kind of field after war and there's been all this slaughter and you find the kind of surviving people. I just had this image of bodies being kind of picked up and pulled up from the ground.
So what we did was we read through it, found some themes, what it was about, and saw the chorus talking about faith and doubt.
Okay.
And then seeing how these characters was insulting each other.
Okay.
So we're using that and exploring that with having a person with authority in our piece.
Okay.
And see how it's pulled towards one and the other side.
Why don't you actually be in these sides instead? Because we've already done the triangle.
We sat through and kind of read them all through, made sure we understood them, looked up gods that we didn't know who they were and things like that. So we had a kind of as much of an informed platform as we could. And then what I got the actors to do is kind of walk around the room, getting familiar with the lines and kind of saying them in different ways.
Okay.
As a kind of symphony of the fragments.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to do the fragments in kind of chronological order, more as a kind of representation of grief and of different things.
Okay.
So now we've just been playing with how we're going to filter that into a piece. So we've got different kind of words popping out and different fragments or parts of fragments being used to kind of convey that moment of horror.
I'm going to let you know that this week there is no winner. Welcome directors and judges to our second showcase. To remind the audience of what our challenge is, it was to create a scene no longer than 4 minutes in some way adapted from an Aeschylean fragment. Today our judges are, again, Dr. Bryce Lease, a senior lecturer in the Department of Drama and Theatre Studies at Royal Holloway, Samantha Wilson, a casting agent, and David Bullen, co-artistic director of By Jove Theatre Company. We are very much looking forward to what you have today.
So my piece is an adaptation from the fragments from Niobe.
God
God
planteth in man the cause of sin whenever he will to utterly destroy a house.
I sow a field, 12 days' journey wide.
My fate
Even the
that dwelt
Barasinthian
aloft
land,
in heaven
where Adrastea
cometh to
seat,
earth and
Ida
saith to me,
resound with lowing oxen and bleating sheep, and the whole plain roars.
learn not to esteem human things overmuch. Learn not to esteem human things overmuch. Learn not to esteem human things overmuch.
Seated at their tomb, she made lament over her dead children.
Father, my children. For alone of gods, death loves not gifts, no, nor by sacrifice, nor by libation canst thou aught avail with him. He hath no altar, nor hath he hymn of praise. For him, alone of gods, persuasion stands aloof.
The kindred of the gods, men near to Zeus, their blood not have yet come divine. To ashes will I burn them by my fire-breathing eagles. I will burn them. I will burn them.
My piece is an adaptation of the fragment The Bone Gatherers.
So this is a piece adapted from fragments from the Edonians.
Our major faith traditions. Our major faith traditions. All of them more historic and deeply rooted than any political party or ideology. Who is this prophet poet? Whence hails this woman man? What's his country? What's his attire? Our major faith traditions, all of them more historic and deeply rooted than any political party or ideology, play a fundamental role in supporting and propagating values which bind us together as a nation.
Who do you think you are? Who gave you the right? You promise freedom! You prophesize wealth! But you give nothing but lies. You're a liar! It's okay. Give in to the madness. Only God can save you now.
So my piece is an adaptation of Glaucus by the Sea. I know everything. I see everything. I am powerful. Home? You know nothing. I am already home. Delusion. I am all powerful. I know everything. I see everything. It is you who are delusional. It is you who are delusional. Delusional. It is you who are delusional. Delusional. It is you. Hey! What? Hey! Are you okay? Are you okay? Where are you? Do you know where you are? I know where I am. Come on. I see everything. Where are you? What's your name? I'm home. Relax. You're safe. You're safe. I know. I'm home.
Thank you, directors. Those were really interesting scenes, and I think we have a lot to discuss. We are going to have a chat with the actors and then have some questions of all of you. So, thank you.
Thank you.
thoughts on number 1, the Niobe scene?
I think what I could make sense of were the two actors who were embedded in the narrative.
Yeah.
And I think similarly, this kind of presence, I wasn't sure that this framing device entirely worked.
I thought it was good though when she took those papers and sort of destroyed it. It sort of, for me, was like, this presence has sort of, in taking the sort of Niobe story of like the loss of children, she's the sort of God who's decided to kill the children, and that, for me, that was that moment. But then after that, it seems like that sort of was the end of the scene. But then there was more. It seemed like, I felt a few of the scenes had really strong beginning middles, and then maybe it was a time thing at the end that
you
wasn't
feel
as
though
developed or wasn't as crisp.
that she had a godly presence though? Because that's
I
the
think
thing
in
for
that
me.
in the moment where she was like laughingly tearing them up, that was the moment that I saw sort of like godliness is sort of like I can destroy the mortals.
Should we move on to the second
2,
one?
yeah.
I felt it was more like about fragments. I was thinking, how is this the bone gatherers? But I felt it was sort of a meta piece about fragmentation and which text survives. And when he was wiping off the text, and then he's the one that, that's the text then we are going to go with and follow.
For me, there's a really satisfying moment when Azan was coming down to grab Harry, and when their first hands sort of had that first moment of connection, was a really sort of strong moment, I thought.
For me, it was still a very strong idea of pairing that kind of sense of tension and aggression that was underlying all of the movement. But the movements themselves were sort of juxtaposed with the dynamics between the actors. So, you know, washing, which we associate with something sort of, you know, gentle, nurturing, becomes something aggressive, and similarly even the pact between the men, or destructive,
Cool, 3. This was the one I really liked, actually. There's one moment where it lost me. I got lost at the tearing of the paper moment, and I was like, oh, maybe it should have already ended, because I think Emily's so captivating, and when she sort of just was recumbent on the chair, it just felt like the scene was done. But then it kept going, but then I did love the sort of stuffing of the paper. I did love this sort of cultish aspect of it. For me, this sort of was saying something about the world I live in.
The conflict as well. Is this is what we feel you should be. No, this is what we feel you should be. And that was, I thought, perfectly displayed. Actually.
I agree. It was super clear. It was super simple.
But, you know, I like actors playing with rhetoric. I like reading out loud on stage, and like the dynamism and the materiality of language, the print. And yet I think that it needed to be tightened and more carefully edited.
Tweaked. 4. Glaucus by the Sea.
Sapphic Desire.
Very Greek.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I've got as well. I've got typically Greek. I love the physicality of it. I love that they went straight to the floor, and it was good to see them playing around with the space that they had. But in terms of making it contemporary, just watching it, it just screamed traditional Greek play for me.
I liked when they became this almost sort of vase statue, like the three of them. It was very strong, almost Olympic kind of statuesque pose. When the language came, when the dialogue came, it came abruptly and surprised me. I liked that
Projection
feeling.
was spot on. She was perfect with that.
Cool. Do you want to talk to the actors?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey guys, we just wanted to hear from the actors this week what it was like working with this director. What was the process like? What did it feel like for you guys to be part of that process?
She was like, she said quite a lot, oh, do this, but how it feels comfortable for you. So I think we were like, oh, is it okay if we do it like this to suit us? And she'd be like, yeah, that's fine, that looks great. So it was quite nice to not
feel like she should have been more decisive, should have taken more charge.
I think maybe in the early stages, to kind of go, this is what we're doing right now.
I had never worked with Abby before, but from first impressions, she was like very fast, but solid. Like compared to last week, we did a lot of, although it was just an hour, it was a lot of testing and a lot of testing stuff out, and then only in the last sort of quarter of an hour we started to actually get something solid. But straight away Abby knew exactly what she wanted, and we did the choreography in about 20 minutes, and then it was just drilling that choreography. So she was very fast and on her toes, but solid with the material.
I really enjoyed her piece last week. I thought it was an interesting piece of theatre, and also I had worked with her once before in the past, and I really did enjoy working with her because it is that very collaborative piece of work. So it's not just her telling us what to do.
I second that. She's so open to new ideas and new things, and although she said to us, you know, I prefer to work naturalistically, she was very open to bringing in other elements to that, because obviously adapting Greek theatre is really hard because it exists almost in a different sphere of consciousness to ours. Like the human mind has changed so much, and you know, the social climates have changed so much since then, that it's hard to just do a naturalistic version of it, I think.
She had very specific expectations kind of movement, the kind of movement that she wanted to do, so we spent a good time just kind of workshopping that, which I thought was really helpful.
She also took a while to get to know us as well, which was something that didn't happen last week. It was very much like we had a decent conversation at the beginning where she was like, so what kind of stuff have you done before? What do you enjoy doing? And you know, maybe we can incorporate some of that into it. And the warm-up and things like that really helped, I think, to create
She
the
was
piece,
also
definitely.
really open to like accept our suggestions, so
I do wish that we had more time to rehearse the actual piece, but other than that, I think she prepared us pretty well.
Yeah.
Let's just begin with Grace, because you happen to be on the end. So that is scene number 4. Tell me about your piece, and maybe specifically as it relates to the engagement with the fragment.
To make it modern is the sort of use of drugs, be it a substance, sex or alcohol, and what they can do to you and make you believe you are. It can make you believe that you're invincible, that you're powerful, and that you know things. It reminded me of the advert you saw on TV of the person who goes, "I am Superman," falls down and dies. And what that can mean, and the effect of it, and how people can either promote doing that to you, or say, "No, don't do that," and completely disown you. Or you can be a person that goes, "I'm here for you, to work with you through this." And it reminded me a little bit of mental health, where sometimes you have to go, "Okay, yeah, I believe your story, and I know that you're in this world," before you can then help them to get out of this world. So that was my sort of thinking.
I would sort of say, if you maybe narrowed down the specificity in it, like if it was sex addiction, because there was those sort of sensual touching, and they sort of became shapes together, and there was the beginnings of a sort of sensuality between them. And had it been, okay, it's going to be sex addiction, or it's going to be this, I think specificity in choice might have given me the sort of specific thing to grab onto. Rebecca? Let's go right to the group then. Anyone want to go in?
Yeah. Who would
Sam?
you recast in your group?
Recast?
Yeah. Which one of the actors would you recast?
I would have recast Alexis because we had some issues with communication through the rehearsal process. We were, 4 girls with big personalities and strong opinions, which sometimes isn't always as easy to work together. And so we disagreed some with how the piece was going to develop, but I believe that Alexis might have been the one to bring up, instead of like helping, maybe bring up the issues more than trying to just work together. But yes.
Done? Great. Abby? Do you feel you had an advantage having chosen your actors right from the beginning? Or after maybe 10 minutes later or an hour later, were you like, oh, maybe I would have chosen something different? Or
I think it was really nice to have the option to choose, because my fragment painted a very specific image, which I straight away 2 things came to mind that I had to use. I didn't just use the boys to put them in a bad place, although it looks like good telly. I think I would have had a better advantage if I could have chosen the fragment, but to be honest, I really like the one that I got, so it didn't seem an issue to me. But I think in terms of, especially as a lot of these actors I've never worked with before, it's kind of, reading a CV you really get so much, so in some ways, I feel like choosing a fragment would have given me more of an advantage, but then again, I don't mind that I didn't, and it was really nice to have the choice of actors. And I wouldn't have changed who I chose because they fitted perfectly like what I wanted to. The kind of first image I took from the fragment, they fitted perfectly, so it was, yeah.
Great, thank you. Courtney, tell me about your piece.
My piece was from Niobe. So we had quite a lot of fragments about the killing of all her children. So she had 7 sons, 7 daughters, by a kind of rival family. And there was a lot about nature and God and control and kind of free will-ish. So we kind of read it through a few times, kind of talked about what it was about, what was the kind of most interesting thing about it. And we kind of decided that grief was really interesting as a concept, especially when you're grieving for something that you almost have no control over. Because as well we had this kind of father figure and we had Niobe, it was quite interesting to have a look at female and male grief, whereas we kind of set it out that the fragment about kind of stopping death and persuading it was quite nice to have from the mother figure that's lost her children, with the kind of, I don't know, trying to think about it and try and kind of with the washing and the images and kind of that process of dealing with it as well. Whereas the male grief in this particular kind of extract we found was more kind of violent in revenge and kind of getting back the reputation of the house and things like that as well. So that was quite nice to play with that kind of dynamic.
Yeah, I think that we have everything. Thank you guys very much. We will deliberate and invite you back to let you know the results. Thank you. Thanks. Welcome back, directors. I'm going to let you know that this week there is no winner. The judges felt that this week everyone progressed massively from the challenge before. We felt that the whole level was lifted up. For us, it just became a really difficult task. And because we are impressed with this, we feel like there's 2 top middle and 2 low middle. And so 2 people will be awarded 3 points, 2 people will be awarded 2 points, if that's clear. The people being awarded 3 points this week are Rebecca and Abby. And the people being awarded 2 points this week are Grace and Courtney. So thank you guys for your hard work. We really felt that things have gone further this week. So thank you guys, thank you.
Well done.
Well done. And see you tomorrow for Challenge 3. Be sure to tune in next week to Project Directing.